What's up, YouTube, and welcome back, NCL, this time Division 2. Welcome to me and Mystery's Power Rankings. I am, of course, joined, just like I said, by my good friend and co-host of the league, Mystery CD.
Fucking yeah.
So this time we're diving into D2, and we'll show you guys the teams. I'll have it bring up right here. We'll kind of go all over them. So biggest thing, especially for D2, that me and Mystery are going to do, I'm going to reevaluate for you guys here, is that we're going to look at your teams and figure out what you could do better, or just what things like either don't work or work really well together in the teams. We're giving kind of our analysis on it. We are ranking it, but don't pay too much attention to the ranking you get. Okay, it's more or less we're trying to help you, develop you, stuff like that. If you want a true, really like in-depth power ranking, Tristan will be releasing his D2 power rankings, as well as you guys have already gotten his D1. And he will be releasing his power ranking, his thoughts specifically on the rankings of the team. Me and Mystery will be delving into just what the teams do well, what they do bad, and how maybe you can fix it, and then we're just ranking them as we go along as well. Well, we both have rankings, but yeah, I'm battling. Anyways, we're gonna just delve right into this because I don't have a crazy amount of time, so we'll just get right into it. So we're gonna start off like we did before. Mystery, can you give us your number 10 team?
I'm gonna go with Vicavolta's Epic as the number 10 team.
Okay.
Basically, any team with Darmanitan on it, usually gonna put it at about the last spot. In all reality, it's just kind of a weird squad. You know, I don't hate it. Like, that's the thing about D2 is I think they did a really good job. None of these teams are truly awful. I mean, there's some weird ones that I don't like as much, but yeah, it's a solid team up and down. You know, I can live with it. The pivoting for Mawile isn't great. I think it, you know, like the top two make a lot of sense together, but outside of that, I think yeah, it just kind of looks like a group of Pokemon, not really a cohesive team. And especially, it doesn't look like it's built for Mawile at all.
Okay, yeah, makes a lot of sense. For my number 10, I have Glimpse.
Okay.
I have Glimpse at number 10 because this team, it just feels like the first three are amazing. Honestly, the first 5 are great, but the first 3 are just crazy. It just, to me, I don't know, it feels like a lot of the offensive pressure on the physical side is all on Kartana. Like, just absolutely all on Kartana, because Crocodile is going to have to be a defensive pivot. The pivoting of this team is also very bad. Because it's what? Naga, Moltres, and Blastoise? And then technically Gunna gets teleport, but you don't really want to run that. But yeah, I'd love to see more pivoting into Mega Gardevoir. There's a butt ton of special attackers here, and then Kartana is just everything physical for this team. Blastoise is locked, Moltres is locked. It just looks like a lot of these Pokemon are locked into roles that they don't really like want to be. We saw this problem again. Mystery's gonna get sad, but Porygon Z here, is just kind of irrelevant. Like, you have a Mega Gardevoir or Naganadel and a Spectrier. When are you really gonna bring Porygon Z? There's not really a whole point.
Every game.
Every other game that you're not gonna bring him. It just, I love him. He's cool. He's a really good low tier special attacker if you really need a breaker for the special side. And I just feel like people are just kind of grabbing him like normal typing and that he hits hard, but like there is really no point on this team to grab it. Your bottom 3 are low-key fine. I mean, you look like you kind of panicked and was like, I need hazard removal. You have 3 rapid spinners and
I need hazard removal. Let me go cry. I'm gonna Hitmonchan. My problem is solved. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like trying to fix holes and then not really fixing them. I just am not a huge fan of this team at all. Naga and Mega Guard are cool together, but it just feels like this team has way too many, especially on the defensive side, way too many holes, just kind of everywhere. Kind of my thoughts on it. Okay, we'll go to number 9. I'll go first. My number 9, I have Mage.
That's low. Okay.
I have Mage because just looking at this team, this is Mystery's saying that's low because he loves this team just because it's.
I'm saying it's low because I think there's one flaw. I mean, there's one flaw. I think that's very low. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this team. I like Pex on it, and then the first 4 are amazing. I like how Lottie can kind of hold down the fort. Cinderace is also an amazing breaker. Stuff like that. And I think this team's good. I feel like Florges, I don't know, are really redundant, and then Masquerain and Lilligant are just there to be there. I'm not a huge fan of Uxie. I get it. Like, it gives him rocks, another rocker other than Landorus on here and stuff. But, like, you're knock swapping his Mega Sizz, which is fine.
Which is the best knockoff switch in it.
That is the best knockoff switching in the game, you're right. But it's just outside of that, you really don't have anything at all. And I feel like Uxie's going to be kind of a weak point of this team as much as I love it. But it's probably better than I think it is. Remember, guys, the rankings are not the biggest thing with this. I'm ranking this low just because I am not a huge fan of this. Mystery knows a lot more of these Pokemon than I do, so he'll probably be able to give a little bit better analysis than I can give on this. I just feel like this might be taken advantage of a little bit. But then again, like I said, Mystery knows the Mons a little bit better. I just don't like the feel of the team. So, yeah, that's where I have it. Where's your number 9, Mystery?
Mage, we'll talk about your team a lot later, so don't worry. My number 9 was Glimpse. You just talked about it. I think this team is super awkward. The only thing I like more about it than Vikavolt is I think there's more options to get out of the problem. Vikavolt's team, I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know how I even fix this. Whereas like this team, yeah, it needs physical offense. It needs better removal that is not Hitmonchan and Cryogonal. It needs combine that into one better, remover like a defogger or whatever, and you're fine. And then the hazard setting is super mid. Is it just Crook? God, I kind of want to put this team 10. They both suck. I think Vikavolt's and Glimpse's teams are the worst 2 teams. I think everyone else's team is much better than that, to me personally. That's what I think Mage's team is just, it has way more cohesion than this team. Or Vikavolt's by far. I don't know. I mean, your rock resist is Kartana, Crook, which is fine, and then Hitmonchan. But I felt like this team has so many weaknesses. It has so many just like weird fucking Pokemon. This looks like a team where, yeah, you get a bunch of points and you're like, all right, it's time to spend them. And then you're like, I just have a bunch of Pokemon here and they are, not great. And I love Gunna, but yeah, he doesn't have any purpose on this team whatsoever. So not a fan.
Okay, going on to number 8. Who do you have?
See, like I said, I think those 2 are so much worse than every other team. I tentatively have Tay, but I think this team could go like up to as high as 3 with really good changes, maybe 4. He was gonna pick up Lycanroc Dusk instead of one of Talonflame or Crobat, and then just decided not to. So now he's rocking out with the triple flying God Squad. The rockers are kind of mid. It's Seismitoad, which is fine, like, good rocker, and then Blissey, which fine, it's okay. And then does Berserker even get rocks? But
it does not. Berserker does not.
So yeah, that's pretty garbage hazard setting. Your removal's good because you have a bunch of flying types.
The only other hazards that he does have is Frostlass.
Yeah, with spikes. Yeah, okay. The top 4 I really like. As much as I don't like Celesteela, I think it's fine here. But I don't know if you surround it with very good role players. Tristan picked Blissey and Toad for you, which is, good. I think, personally, I keep Talonflame, and then I'd go get a different poison, and then drop Berserker. Like, go get, like, a better poison in that slot, and kind of call it a day. I mean, like, it's close. Like, this team, I'm splitting hairs. I like the team, but it needs a few different changes. It's close though. Like I said, if you get like Lycanroc on here, especially to get like a mid speed between, fucking Talonflame and I don't even know who's next. Hydreigon? Metacham? Yeah, it's Metacham. Or no, he's Frostlass. That's fine, but Frostlass doesn't really count because it's Frostlass. But yeah, that's my opinions.
Okay. on my number 8, I have Omar. Or
You got Vikavolt way too high, man.
He's coming up. He's coming up. Don't worry.
Wow.
I have some things I'm gonna say about Vikavolt, but I agree with a lot of the points you made. But going into Omar's, you have. I just look at this team and I see good Pokemon, if that makes sense. The bottom 4 are god awful, except for Licky, which is fine. But I'm just looking at this team and I just feel like it's super. I don't know. You have a bunch of bulky Pokemon that can run offensive, and just if the first thing I look at is the speed. The speed on this team is god awful because it goes from Mega Pidgeot at what 130, and it falls to
not even. It's 121.
It's 121. It's 121, and it falls to Kyurem. So, unless I'm missing something, it's Kyurem.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's Kyurem and Gliscor, I think, tie at 95. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is just god awful. Your walls, other than Slowking, lack reliable recovery because Kyurem is there as well, but
He has Gliscor and Kyurem. That's
I forgot about Gliscor. I'm sorry. That was just a wrong statement. So that's not awful. That was something I was thinking about, and I was just wrong on that. So take that back. The recovery's fine. I don't know. Your pivoting is Gliscor, which is good. Mag can pivot. Rotom Heat can pivot. Slowking can run, teleport, and make a Pidgeot, which is good.
It does not get teleport.
Slowking doesn't. Yeah, that's what big.
No.
Mega Pidgeot can pivot. That's fine. But Slowking pivots on its own with Regenerator, so it's cool. But I don't know. It feels like you have cool mons, but just holes in it. It feels like you never are gonna be. It just feels like extreme bulk with nothing to like do anything. Because like your main breakers in Kyurem and Mag are too slow to like help benefit the rest of the team, and then Mega Pidgeot's just gonna have to do so much. Your walls are good, but you're just gonna run into so many people getting to run Adamant with bans or specs or stuff like that because they don't have to worry about running Scarfs. They don't have to worry about putting a positive speed natures on because they can just blow right through your walls now. With Tapu Fini and not having that reliable recovery, you're gonna see it start getting chipped down really easily. Gliscor is gonna run into a lot of what do I need to run U-turn to try and get into Mag and Kyurem? Or am I gonna like have the hazards or stuff like that, or hazard removal even? So I don't like this team a lot. I don't think they mesh very well together. You have a lot of good Pokemon, and then you have a lot of good Pokemon, and then you have Breloom, Crustle, and Sableye. So I don't know what you're doing there either. But I think this team needs speed, and it needs to relieve these walls so much because that's just the biggest problem. Is the speed is such an issue. Rotom Heat's cool for this team. I like Rotom Heat a lot on this team. I think it helps alleviate Gliscor and Fini a lot, but I feel bad for it because all of these mons are bulky with like Nasty Plot or setup options that can be really, really fun, and none of them are going to be able to run that because you're just going to notice that you're never going to be able to live hits because you're just taking so much from everything, and that's my biggest problem about this. And it just feels like a lot of overlap. Like your first 6 mons just feel like they overlap so much from other than like Mag. Everything else feels like it's bulky. Either has a role of being bulky or it's bulky with setup / it hits hard. So I don't really like that a whole lot. And I honestly would be fine if you kept the Mega Pidge. I just think you need to reevaluate one of these mons. Definitely, I feel like you can definitely compile Breloom, Licky, Crustle, and Sableye, because that's so many points right there. You can compile those and just really alleviate your top. Like, you don't even have to get rid of those. Just alleviate them somehow. That's my biggest problem with this team. But I think it has a very, very high ceiling with a couple good transactions.
Yeah, Omar's my next one. I know you didn't announce it, but like for number 7, I have Omar there.
Okay.
I definitely agree. The physical offense goes from SD Gliscor to Breloom to like Licky, so it's not great. I don't mind this mostly because it's basically just Gen 8 like extreme defense balance. It's like the step before stall. It's very, very defensive balance. the recovery is fine. I know Feeney. I don't think Feeney's like being asked to do a ton on this team because Gliscor and Slowking kind of do everything. Like I just, Feeney's, it just feels kind of irrelevant on this team almost. Where I don't know if it's gonna get chipped. I just don't know how many games it's even gonna be needed for. But it's overall fine. I agree. Pidgeot's not horrible here, mostly just because he needs offense in some kind of way. But physical offense is just desperately needed. You need Darmanitan. Put his ass here.
Or just drop Breloom and Crustle and go get Mienshao or something.
Mega
like
Mawile would have been terrific on this team instead of. Well, I guess he does have the Magearna. I don't think Magearna's even really a great fit here. It's a weird looking team that I think can be saved by some pretty easy to make transactions. I don't think that would be a tough team.
Nobody has Mienshao, right?
It'd be pretty shocking considering Goon is in this division, but
nobody has Mienshao in this division.
Yeah, that would help. That would definitely go a long way.
So, just something you could look at. Yes, because you can get rid of Breloom and Crustle or in Sableye altogether, get a 1-pointer and get Mienshao. I don't know if that's enough points. You might have to get rid of something else, but you can do something with this and get some form of physical offense. So yeah, my number 7 is Vikavolt. I know this is probably the biggest one that me and Mystery are going to disagree on throughout. I agree with him that the synergy is a little wonky. I think this team has a little bit more going for it than some of the other ones, just because I think like the Mons can take care of themselves. You have good setup in Mawile, Lottie, and even like Calm Mind, Darkrai. You have great breakers in Nihilego, Darmanitan. I am okay with the pivoters being like Darm forces things out and you can pivot. Milotic can pivot, Gligar can pivot, Lilgunna can teleport out. You have decent stuff. I think the biggest thing is kind of what Mystery said, is that even though you do have okay, in my opinion, okay pivoters, you don't do a whole lot for Mawile. This team kind of wants a steal really bad, and Mawile just doesn't really fill that role. And it feels like it's going to be really hard to get ahead sometimes. Because it feels like you're going to be playing really, really, really defensively for the most part until you can get Mawile and Darkrai and or set up with something like Lottie. So I think things can be changed. As much as he likes Vikavolt on this team, I think if you compiled your Dhelmise, Vikavolt, Grapple-locked together and just got some other stuff, maybe even Nihilego, because I feel like Nihilego doesn't do crazy amount.
Is Heatran taken? Is that Mon still available? Heatran is available. I feel like that'd be a great fit.
Heatran would be an amazing fit on this team. Like that means you can compile your bottom 3, get rid of Nihilego, Darmanitan, get Heatran on this squad, and then just fill in another role player other than Nihilego. That could rocker. Another rocker. Because your rockers are Mega Mawile, Nihilego, and Gligar. Gligar is going to be your obviously main rocker. And then that's also one of my biggest worries about this team, is it just feels like Gligar wants to come all the time. Like constantly.
That ain't Gligar's mojo.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I'll show up every now and then, and this ain't my battle chief, and you're just gonna have to be like, yeah, I guess it is, and then he's gonna be rocks, U-turn, defog, roost, and it's like, oh, this sucks.
No, you're gonna find that awful set where you're gonna run EQ, roost, defog, and U-turn every single fucking game. It's just gonna be that over and over and over
and then
again.
There's no rocks, so then you gotta put rocks on one of the other two.
That's what I feel like is gonna happen too. That's why I hate it, because it feels like rocks are going to have to be either put on Nihilego or Mega Mawile coming, because you just can't fit it on Gligar. So that's my biggest thing. I don't think Dhelmise does anything for this team other than hazard removal, because your hazard removal is Lottie, Gligar, and Dhelmise, and I don't even know if Vikavolt gets it.
Vikavolt does not get defog, no.
Okay. So that kind of sucks, and I know that's why you picked up Dhelmise. Originally, we were looking at Decidueye, which I think did a lot better for this team. But if you got rid of like Nihilego, Darmanitan, Dhelmise, you could even keep the Vikavolt, which I'd be fine with, and go get Heatran, Decidueye, and then something else, and that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot. I'd like that team a little bit more. It's still not perfect, but
it would look a lot better. Because you pick up Heatran, it gives you the stealth rocks and more bulk to actually pair with Milotic. because Milotic, Gligar, and Porygon 2, while they are all blanket checks to a lot of things, can still be overwhelmed. They're not true walls other than Milotic. And I like Heat Train really just adds to that core a lot and does really well and gives you that steel type you really, really want. And not designated rocker, but relieves the pressure off of Gligar, and it can run rocks sometimes. Stuff like that. So yeah, Heat Train would be an amazing option for this team. So maybe look into that. Yeah. So that's why I like this team, just because I think I feel I know where he's going, because I helped him a little bit with stuff. Just didn't help him with the whole team, but stuff he wanted to use, and I just suggested a couple other mons rather than ones he was thinking of, and things like that. So I think
that's why there's a Gligar.
It wasn't me. That wasn't me. But yeah. So moving on to number 6, I have Ava.
Really? Man, we just do not agree at all. Wow.
D2 is just big. I think they're just all so close, man. And it's just preference. I think it's just preference. The biggest thing. I dislike this team. There's one Pokemon that I hate, and it's on this team. And so I can't do it. It's like Mystery when he's like, if there's a Darmanitan on a team, I can't put it higher than 8.
Darmanitan and Melmetal, I'm done, bro.
Huh?
I said there's a big difference.
There is, but I hate it. I hate this mon. It's like
you're ass. You suck ass.
Holy you suck ass. Shut up.
You know what happened in finals? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, shut up. All right, we're about to do this. We're fighting. All right. I don't know. So I think the top 5 to 6 are fine. And then after that, I know Mystery's the biggest Tentacruel guy. We were just talking about him. And I think it's okay, but it's just Tentacruel on here is functioning as the main water, and I dislike that. I know you have Wish Clefable. I try to merge those words, but it just feels like Wish Clefable has to come every week to keep any kind of longevity for this team. Because your Dark type is Moltres, which wants to run kind of bulky offense all the time.
It runs Rest.
It runs Rest. Yeah, it can run Rest because of its bulkiness and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan of Rest sets. And it's just Melmetal is gonna get chipped. I feel like it's gonna be hard to bring not offensive. How do I say this? You're gonna be bringing a lot more AV kind of Melmetals rather than Choice Banded kind of Melmetals. And I just dislike that. I don't like it as your steal. It just feels wonky. Raiku's fine. It gives you speed tier, helps break things. Waters for stuff like Terrakion and Melmetal, because that's fine. I like Donphan just because it gives you the rocks and the rapid spin. I just really dislike the bottom 5. I really don't like it a lot. Tangela's fine. I'm not the biggest fan. I want to see him use Moltres. I think Moltres is okay for this team if the other ones above it weren't. I just don't like Tentacruel as well. Tentacruel gives you T-Spikes, which is cool, stuff like that. I just don't see, it feels like they're forced to come to games. And I kind of want, if Tentacruel's going to come, I want it to have decent matchup and stuff like that. And I really hate it being that bulky water, because your physical defense is Melmetal and Donphan, which is fine, but it just kind of, I don't know. I feel like you're going to get chipped really well. Your Scald swap-in is kind of just Tentacruel.
There's a Clefable.
You have a Clefable, that's true.
And a Tangela.
Alright. How many games is Tangela coming to?
At least 3.
I feel like it's gonna have to, and I don't like that. That's the whole point.
I fucking hate you. I'm so done.
What?
I wanna be put off I'm sitting back down in the chair. I wanna be put off this recording. I'm not gonna let Ava be slandered like this.
I'm not letting Ava be
this
slandered.
This team is number 1 for me. I'm sorry. I think I really like this team.
All right, well, we'll get to it when you talk to it. I just hate the bottom 5 so much, so that's why I have him where he's at. All right, he's at number 6. I think he's okay there.
Don't listen to these haters.
Megaladios is cool. Use him well. I want to see how you use Megaladios.
This is an amazing top 4. All right, let's. So who are we on 6? I got Steph. I helped him build this team because he picked 9 offensive Pokemon that all either shared the psychic.
You yelled at me to help him keep this Reuniclus, and you fucking got rid of it. So I don't want to hear it.
I tried, man. I tried, but he drafted himself into a hole. There's nothing I could do. I love the top 4. The rest of it is just a whole lot of meh for the team. Incineroar, I think there just was not a lot of fires left. He had to try and get something. It's okay, it's got U-turn. I just like teleport into the top 3 basically is all this team has. Like it's the only option, and then Thunderous kind of just I don't really know what the role is, but I know he really likes that mon. So it makes sense. I'm not shocked that Thundy's on the squad.
I like Thundy just because I think it helps. Thundy and Superior help break the really, really annoying waters for the top 3, or at least chip them.
Yeah. So it still has options. I'm just afraid of a little too much offense maybe for someone of Steph's caliber, where I don't want him to make bad moves and then cripple himself and have to try and climb out of the hole. Because if he's playing from ahead, he'll be fine. I really like this team kind of plays itself in a way where, again, teleport, slow bro, go into one of the 3 and just start clicking moves.
Mm-hmm.
Defog is fine. I think he's got decent removers. It's just, again, a whole lot of meh. Like, you're going to have to kind of throw it on somebody you don't want to, except Weezing is okay with it usually. It does have a bit of 4-move syndrome, but it's still a good mon. And the rockers are Chomp, Diancie, and Regirock. So, not great. But again, just a whole lot of, like, I think the team... And also, I will say this is the best, like, Dragon Fairy Steel core maybe ever. So shout out to that. Good team though. Like it's no shot at Steph. Obviously I helped to make it a little bit. So good team. I like it.
I like this team a lot. I'm
sure this is number 1 for you. I'm sure.
It's not. Okay. I don't have him as number 1. All right. My number 5. Fuck you. Is Tay. My number 5 is Tay. I have him a little bit higher than you because I really like this team. I like it a lot. Obviously, the biggest thing with it is, well, that's the funny thing is literally what I'm about to say. You took me right out of my mouth. I don't like Crobat on this team.
Ooh, the first time ever.
I think that you can get rid of Crobat and Frostlass, or fuck the Berserker as well. Who the fuck? Why do people keep drafting this mon?
Dude, it's the Weavile check.
No, it's fucking not. Stop. It's not. It's literally a nothing check. This thing does nothing. It just sits there. It's a steal that doesn't get rocks. It does. It sits there and does.
Yeah, he has 2 steals that don't get rocks.
It's just. It's bad. Berserker is a very horrible mon. Frostlass is one of those mons that it looks really, really cool on paper and then just never does anything.
Man, what types don't I have? I don't have an ice.
Yes, that's exactly. Mystery is speaking the fact. We're agreeing on something for once. Frostlass, and I like the mon. I think it's a really cool in-game mon.
Yeah, you're higher on it than me. Oh, in-game? Oh, I don't give a fuck.
It's just fun using those Lux and stuff. But I'm a little bit higher on it than even Mystery is. But Frostlass falls into the horrible stereotype of what typings do I need? I need a ghost and I need an ice because those are typings that you don't usually have.
Because you know why? If you don't draft a ghost, because there's only like 3 that are even viable. Obviously, you don't have a fucking ghost type unless you draft Misdreavus too as your 1-pointer.
Exactly.
And then ice, it's if you don't draft Kyurem or you don't
it's
draft
Kyurem or Mamoswine, and that's it. Or Weavile.
Like, oh man,
those are the 3.
I have an ice and I have a ghost. Oh, Frostlass. No.
People always do that.
It is okay on this team though.
I think it's fine on this team. It actually is fine. It's just here. It's kind of my steps with it. I think it can stay, but I think it's just here. It comes to 2 games max. And I bet you, Mystery's gonna laugh at this. You know what this Frostlass is gonna do? It's gonna become 1 week because of Destiny Bond gimmick, and then it's gonna come the other week because he doesn't want to bring hazards on somebody. That's the 2 games. That's your blank like your
over under on banded Frostlass 0.5.
That's fucking heat. It gets Poltergeist and Ice Shard. Run it and triple axle. It's cool. Yeah. And they bust. I can't talk today. They buffed its attack, so it's not like awful to run physical anymore.
So it's better set, honestly, at this point.
I think it is, yeah. I absolutely love Mega Medi Tapu Koko Hydreigon. I know it's tried and true. People have used that a lot before, but oh my god, it's perfect. It's so good. I love that. That's why I rank this team a lot higher than Mystery, just because I think those 3 on their own just are going to be amazing. And for D2, it's going to be extremely hard for almost any of these teams to work through. Celesteela, me and Mystery have our thoughts about Celesteela, but I agree with him. It's not awful on this team. It gives you really good wall to bracket into things. You can ship things with Leech Seed, just be annoying, and especially paired with Blissey, you can just be ultra annoying. I think Toad is fine. However, it really sucks because your water swap and then becomes Hydreigon and Serena. That's why I like Serena on this team. I think it's a very good low tier grass that gives you a good water swap in. However, it's kind of your only Scald swap in is really Hydreigon, which kind of sucks. Oh, Water Absorb. I was thinking about freaking
Berserker.
Berserker's not. That's just wrong. See. I mean, yeah, actually, Berserker is because you don't care if it's burned because it doesn't do any damage anyways. So.
But no, I mean, he has 2 really good swap-ins.
He does.
Blissey and Seismitoad are fine.
I take it back with the Skull because I forgot. I thought I was thinking Seismitoad was Swampert. I thought it did resist water. That was the whole thing I was going to go on with water resist stuff. I'm tired today, guys. I'm going to talk to you guys about it in a different episode of something coming out, but my brain is Swiss cheese. I just like the team. I like it a lot. Pivoting Tapu Koko, Hydreigon, Blissey, and then your 2 birds and Serena. Like I like it. I like this team a lot. I'm a lot higher on it than Mystery was, but I think this is one good transaction from being top 3. For sure. So Tay, good job. I think you just tweak it a little bit and you're right there. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I'm just lower on it because I'm not too sure that he's gonna make the right transaction, but if he does, it, like I said, it has potential to be like top 4. So yeah, okay. Who is it? 5 now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is where I got Mage.
Okay.
I agree completely that Florige's Autono is extremely redundant. I had told him to go because he was needing some help after Cox Specs because he also didn't know that he had a point cap. This is his first ever league. So he thought he'd just, picking Mons. And all things considered, his top 5
did pretty well for just picking Mons. Holy shit.
I'm very happy with how this top 5 turned out for not knowing like your first draft league. These are like great. I know I like especially 3 of these Pokemon are very high up on my favorite board, but they work really well together. There's a ton of pivoting into Tox Specs, which is aids for a generator.
Those first 3 are like some of the best pivoters in the entire game.
Exactly. Libro Ace, Lando T, Scizor. It's like, okay, let me just go kill myself. He got Dark Meat, which honestly, not like a hater of. I understand that he does have 3 physical mons, but like if Scizor's kind of playing a bit more of a defensive role with all the offense he has, and then like Lando's more of a rocker, like there's weeks where Pangoro's just gonna like look at fucking Omar's team. I know he's the double fairy, but like teams where it's a bit more defensive, he could just kind of come in and get kills, or like fucking Vicavolt team. What's his Pangoro switching? Nothing. Fucking nothing at all. I like Panda on this team. He's beast. But yeah, I agree that the bottom 4 needs a bit of a revamp. Is Groudle still out there? He is. Yeah, he's out there. So go get Groudle over Lilligant. I love her. Breedable, but can't do it. Masquerain, fine, whatever. If you want webs, don't care. And then find a different fairy. Is Comfey taken? Yeah, okay, person has Comfey. What the fuck else is there? I'm sure there's something you could find. But Florges and Autono are like the exact same Pokemon, just one has Defog and one's the normal type. So just take whatever you value, maybe turn Masquerain into like a bulky low tier normal, like one of those down there like Kecleon or Munchlax. I know they're both gone, but I'm sure there's somebody else in that range, and then maybe upgrade Uxie into something. But Uxie's not bad on this team either. I like it. I don't, I know he has double psychic. It's fine because he has really good knock swap-ins, and Uxie's a really good role player, sets up the rocks, takes pressure off Lando. U-turns into all of his offense. It helps him not lose to shit like Mega Gallade, Mega Medi, all of them. I think it's a good team. I think he had it a little too low. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. 100%. Also, I wanted to point out for a lot of the D2 people, I think if you're going to double up on typings, there's like 3 really good typings to double up on, or 4, in my opinion, I guess. Oh, there's a few, but Psychic is one of them, I think. Gladios and Uxie do completely, utterly separate things, and I think they're completely fine on this team. Psychic is one of the ones I'd be wary of, but it is good when you do something like this. Yeah, I'm growing a little bit more fond of the team the more I look at it. I kind of made these rankings really quick for these, so I apologize on that. But it still feels like there's something off about it. It's probably just the floor, just I don't know. But now that Mystery talked about it, I'm a little higher on it, and I'd probably rank it higher if we did this again. But I think that I just want to see him use it, and it is his first ever draft league, so we'll see. Remember, guys, pointing out again that these rankings have nothing to do with don't take anything wrong. Like me and Mystery like to point this out. Skylar usually gets ranked really low every single year.
Not really low. Last every time.
Because her teams are so
bad.
Not necessarily
no,
bad.
It's bad.
Unconventional.
No, it's bad.
Unconventional.
Mage's Salamence every year.
But yeah, so moving on. What is your number 4?
You didn't do your number 5.
I did. It was Tay.
Oh, you went first. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of accidentally.
My number 4 is Monster. The D2 Ashgren user. So proud, so happy. Feel like a proud dad. See my boy move on and go do great things. He surrounded it, I think, pretty well. Like with water killers, Zapdos is obviously great. And then defensively, Pharaoh is also really good. This looks like a Tristan team.
It does. Oh my god, that's what I thought when I looked at it. I was like, Tristan?
This looks like something like a more offensive. Like it's kind of like the FBL. He drafted more offense. This is like the NCL version of a Tristan team. In the new offense Tristan era.
Well, before you start going, my number 4 is also Monster, so we can just both talk about it.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
We agree.
Wow, first time. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm a little, all right. I'm not, how much I hate people that are like, terrain, can't draft anything that doesn't fit in it. But you did draft Hitmontop, which is like a priority god. It gets like all of them basically. And then you have Water Shurikengren. It's just something I'm like tiny, back of my mind scared of. I think it's fine again because
Can I piggyback off you real quick?
That much. Sure.
I do not like Tapu Lele on this team. I told him that I just, if he's going to change it, because he asked me, he's like, hey, do you think I should make any changes to this team? And I gave him my pure, honest answer. I was like, my biggest things of this team, weak points, I think Tapu Lele is the biggest thing. Because I am not a huge fan of the terrain. And I also think if you look at it, because your dark type is Ashgren, opposing psychics are obnoxious for you. Luckily, nobody has Megazam, but Megazam puts this team in the dirt. You have ways to revenge it. That's what I told him. I said, you have ways to revenge it, but you have absolutely no swap-in at all. And I very much dislike that because Tapu Lele, as like, it can be bulkier, but it's just kind of streamlined into what it can do. It doesn't really, it's not the best swap into things like that. And I just dislike it. I think if you got rid of Tapu Lele and then something like Hitmontop or Kangaskhan, you can make that portion, you can get a good fairy. And I would like to see another water. You don't always have to do this. People kind of get in their mind that you have to have another water with Ashgren. That's not necessarily true if your team doesn't necessarily need a water, but I would really like a bulky water just because I want Zapdos to be a little bit more open. Ferrothorn, amazing defensive Pokemon, and then Mega Chomp is a lot different from regular Chomp. While it is bulkier, you're running more offensive sets every week. I want to see him use it bulkier because this team's going to need it. But especially since you have Cleavor, you kind of alleviate that pressure. But I will say Ashgren, Mega Chomp, Lissef, and Cleavor is really, really, really cool.
I was gonna say Cleavor is a great role player for this team.
I agree. I like it a
everything
lot.
He needs.
Gives you an additional defogger, gives you that physical offense, is an amazing Scarfer. Rocker too, yes, great. I wasn't even thinking of that. But yeah, I think Tapu Lele is just the big thing here. But we talked about it, and it was one of the mons he wanted to use, so he said he's going to give it a chance for a little bit and see where it goes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason it's so high is the upside of this. Like the floor of this team is like 6-3. Like I think this is a really good team. The ceiling is really high. Like it's really, really high, especially if you mix transactions. I think this is coach and team wise, this is one of the one of the contenders for sure.
All right. At my number 3, this is where I have Steph.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I have Steph at number 3. Mystery helped him make transactions. Steph's team, when he originally drafted, he was working and stuff a lot, and he didn't make a plan at all, and I think he just started drafting stuff. It was funny. It was definitely very funny to look at. But
I really enjoyed the only defensive mon Reuniclus. It was really great, and Hoopa.
I love this top 4. Like I just can't get over how much I love it. Like Mystery said, this is probably the best Dragon Fairy Steel core I have like almost ever seen. This is amazing. Ever. This is absolutely crazy amazing. And then Slowbro with teleport fitting into Mega Dancy, Zama, Garchomp is just even crazier. And I'm okay with all the role support. I like Thundy. I love Incineroar with Parting Shot into Zama, Dancy, Garchomp. Pivoting's good there. Weezing's a good role player. It's not an amazing at what it does, but it gives you Defog to help with Thundy. It gives you a poison typing that's can still be off the ground, so you don't super worry about ground types just running you through. That was my biggest concern was ground typing. Ground typing is a little rough for this team. Slowbro's a blanket check. At least Thundy's off the ground. Weezing can be off the ground, and then Serp might have to come to the games that ground types are really, really rough. Because looking at this team, it just feels like Lando T is really hard for this team. Like really, really obnoxious.
Yeah, but like Lando never kills Slowbro.
That's something I agree. You have to, if you can keep Slowbro healthy and stuff like that, I think it's fine. That's also why I have it marked so high, is because even though grounds are obnoxious, it has ways to deal with it. Zama outspeeds. Diancie is gonna blow a hole in Landorus T if it's not scarfed. It's stuff like that. Garchomp can be defensive if need be. Things like that. I love the versatility of this team. I like it a lot. And even though Mystery said he was a little worried about the role players, I like the role players a lot. I think they do the roles that the top 3 need them to do, if that makes sense. Because you're building this team around those top 3. So everything else is not going to look amazing next to that God squad. But I like it. I think you filled it good. Thunderous with Prankster is a really good disabilitator for everything else with priority Thunder Wave. Get rid of rocks really fast if it needs to just get rid of rocks and die for things to come in. I love it a lot. I like it a lot. So, and I like Incineroar a lot on this team too, because it needed a fire. You added that. It needed a dark. You added that. And it needed some more good pivoters, and you added that. So I like it a lot. You have Intimidate, which is really, you add every little thing to this. So I'm really, really high on this team. Maybe a little bit higher than Mystery, which is funny because he basically built this. But I like it.
I mean, like I said, I like the team. I was a little scared of the coach using it, because I've never seen him use it to like a very, very top heavy team. I'm a little scared of seeing how it looks, but the team itself, I think, is really
the biggest thing I'm worried about, Steph, because this is the biggest thing I have with your playstyle, is you have like these weird swaps. I hate that. You'll swap into Mega DNC for seemingly to no reason. And then it'll just die, or it take like 80%, and then you're like, well, and then you'll swap again, and it's like, okay, stop, please. And
yeah, he gets stabbed, and then he starts pulling out the blade, and he just won't stop pulling it out as there's blood gushing everywhere, and he just keeps pulling it out. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest thing. I think if you can play a little bit safer stuff, this team will run itself. You don't have to make crazy reads. You don't have to. I'm not saying you can't make a read every once in a while. That's fine. That's just how Pokemon is. But you do not have to go overboard. Play to your strengths. Play to this team's strengths. Play to how you build the team every week, if that makes sense. You build a team. Mon has a function. Play to that function. Do that. You have a swap in. Say like, hey, my Tarak swap in is Slowbro. I'm swapping into Slowbro every time. Right? Stuff like that. So if you could do that, Steph, I would love to see you be a top team. I want to see you in the playoffs, Steph. I really do. It's one of my biggest wishes. I want to see you there. So, moving on. Numero trace for you, Mystery.
Sonic Goon. I do have it written down on here in any order. Truly, for this top 3, you could hold a gun to my head, and I would probably change it it can be 27 different ways. I'd probably have it every possible combination. I'd find a way. I'm a little scared about like Umbreon down. It's a lot of like what the fuck, but Torrentee, Kyurem, Victini is fucking incredible, and then you surround that with Scizor, Swampert, Tangrowth. His top six is like the best in the league, potentially. It's like him, Steph, and Ava for me. Like we're like of high tier top sixes, like best six you can bring to a game. They're both up there. Also, did I say Mage? Because yeah, he would probably be in that conversation as well. I'm a little scared about the Rockers because it's Swampert, you know, and Kecleon, my guy. So not great, but removal is Torn and Scizor and Rotom, which is all fine. And Hitmonlee is cool, you know, because no one ever drafts him. But yeah, I think this team just has a bunch of options, a ton of pivoting into Kyurem Black. So I think he's going to do fine. It's a solid team up and down.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll just keep the train moving because my number 2 is, in fact, Sonic Goon. So with this team, like he said, Torrentee, Kyurem Black, Victini is like my ultimate just, I love it so much. I love it even more than Zama, DNC, Garchomp. I love that core. It's so cool. You just pick 3 of the best draft Pokemon. Kind of like, that's kind of a mystery phrase, but good draft league Pokemon. Torrentee's probably in the top 3 of just all-time good draft league Pokemon. Victini is in the top 10. And then KB is just a powerhouse all the time, constantly, whenever it's allowed. And I love it. I love it a lot. And then Scizor, Swampert, Tangrowth, like Mystery said, is amazing. I love that core. Umbreon, I'm fine with, just because it gives you... I know Goon likes Umbreon a lot, too. He's used it a couple times, and I know that he likes them on. I think it's fine. I think Foul Play is going to be cool for some of the really big physical attackers that are going to try and break through this team. So I'm fine with it. I like Umbreon. Wish support is always good. I am very wary on the speed of this team because it falls from Torrentee to Victini. Wait, what's Hitmonlee?
It's slow. It's not.
It's 80, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
85.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it falls from Torrentee to Victini, and I feel like that's your biggest issue right there. Is you're gonna get taken advantage of. It's not as bad as Omar's team with that speed cap, but it's still a little rough. You're gonna find a lot of things that would usually be running Scarf or at least speed boosting natures to try and take advantage of you are gonna start running Bandit or Specs and then running plus attack natures because they can. So that's my biggest issue. I don't think Rotom has any, like, what's Rotom doing here? Is my biggest thing. And then me and Mystery joking about it before. It feels like people just draft these weird low tier ghosts just to have a ghost type. You don't need it. Like, this Rotom doesn't do a whole lot for this team at all. I would just rather see a better electric. And then Hitmonlee, I don't know how to feel about it. It gives you another hazard removal with Scizor, Torrentee, which is amazing, and then Hitmonlee gets Rapid Spin, so that's fine. I don't know. I think that Hitmonlee is just too slow and too, like... I know it gets the Unburdened gimmicks that you can use. You can always just CCY Herb, and now it's probably the fastest mon in the game, like in the game that you're playing. So that's fine, I guess, but I don't know. He's cool. I'm just kind of like cons and pros, if that makes sense. He's just kind of there. But if I were you, I would probably get rid of Hitmonlee Rotom and then try and find something to just cohesively fit onto this team and kind of go from there. But yeah, other than that, I just really love this team. The pivoting is amazing. Holy crap, it's so good. Torrentee, Victini, Swampert, Scizor, that's crazy. And then Tangrowth with the Regenerator, that's just so cool.
Baton Pass Umbreon, which he runs a lot.
Mm-hmm. Baton Pass Umbreon, which was the next thing I was going to get to. And then even Volt Switch Rotom if that thing stays. All into KB. And Minun, yeah, he gets Volt Switch. Yeah, I like the team a lot. it's just Hitmonlee Rotom. And then Hitmonlee's still a meh. I just don't like Rotom on this team. It's the only mod I do not like on this team. Kecleon's fine as a 3-point normal. Gives you rocks, gives you Protean, gets plenty of coverage, different stuff. So, what did you say?
Recover.
Oh, recover too. So that's fine. Like that's it's a fine mod. For 3 points, you can do worse, 100%. So I don't even have a problem with that. It's just Rotom. But if Rotom wasn't here and it was something else in its place, like just a better electric, I think I would this team would probably be number 1 for me. But yeah, what about your number dose?
My number 2 is Person. I love this team, and Tristan does not. He was sending me some teams like going like, you know, what the fuck is this? And he sends me like 2 of them, and then this was the 3rd one he sends me, and I was like, what? And I had to talk to him, and he kind of like changed a little bit. Like the freeze dry answer is not great on this team. It's like kind of Miltank.
Venusaur.
Great. Your grass type is your freeze dry switching, but like Corv also, you know, doesn't really take a ton.
Vanillux.
I think. Huh?
Vanillux is right there, and
True.
Carkol.
Carkol.
What is it? What do you need? Freeze dry
I
is taken care of. It's too easy.
And
Thick fat Miltank.
I honestly, honest to God, I think this top like 6 is just gonna come to most games and then take out one of them for a role player here and there, and that's it. It's fucking awesome. You know, like I think the cross unfortunately is going to be rocks more often than not, just based on how you built this team. But you know, if Mudsdale's here, then it has a bit more freedom. But like Shifu Dragapult is fucking insane. We've seen Mega Gallade Dragapult the last few years. It's like, how can we make that slightly better? Oh, let's just put Urshifu into it. Oh, great. And then let's give him Necrozma for the ultimate setup. Just in case you forgot about Gallade setting up, now we got Necrozma here. And then some just annoying, great defensive Pokemon in Corv, Rotom, and Venusaur. And then, like I said before, I think, you know, good role players. You got Miltank and Mudsdale for some extra rocks, and then Comfey for defog and utility and all that kind of stuff. Fuck Vanillux, that mon sucks ass. It's okay, but you know, like for 5 you can do worse, but it probably won't come to more than 1 game, like maybe a team that's super freeze dry weak. But I fuck with the squad. I think it's really good. I don't have any complaints. I thought this team and one other one were just really good, and honestly this one could be, like I said, any order between Goon, Person, and Ava, I think for me are all deserving of 1 through 3. I'd probably, if you held a gun in my head, I'd probably go with this one at 1, but for now I'm gonna go with 2 just because I really like Ava's team. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna kind of do a switcheroo, and I want to talk about this because you just did. Pearson's my number 1, so we're not too far off. I, just like Mystery said, I freaking love this team. This is when we say you have a top heavy team and you have to fill it with role players, and this is when you do it right. And there's not a mon other than maybe Vanillux, but I don't even mind Vanillux on this team at all. I don't even want to talk about it because I just don't care, you know? I think it's fine. Just like Mystery said, you have your top 6 Pokemon that are just going to come to every single game and are going to do work every single game. This is one of the teams where you have another weird speed gap. That's like the biggest thing, I guess, because you go from Dragapult to Miltank and Comfey. And that sucks, but the thing is, you have the best Scarfer in the entire fucking game, Urshifu. And then even Rotom can run niche Scarf sets. You have amazing setup options with Dragapult, Necrozma, Corviknight, and even Nasty Plot Rotom. And then your role players are perfect fit-ins. You have Mudsdale if you really need that good low-tier ground for a game, and it can free up Necrozma if it doesn't want to run rocks. You have Miltank. Mega Venu's gonna come to a lot of games. It's gonna fill in there. Comfey is there for Comfey things. Even Vanillux, if you really need a game for Vanillux to come, and Carkol's your 1 point. 1 points are not gonna come maybe 1 or 2 games, but
You can do worse than Carkol.
exactly. For 1 point, it gives you rocks, rapid spin, stuff like that, a fire type, whatever you need. It's not an awful ordeal there. This team seems amazing. I can see weeks where you just run bulky with Pult being Specs, and then Urshifu running Scarf, and then just run bulky options on everybody else and just win. Because you just overwhelm everybody. The U-turn initiative into Urshifu Necrozma is freaking amazing. I love this team. It's just, this is my favorite team by far out of everybody. And I know Mystery was saying that any one of them can go. This one is just my all-time favorite out of everybody.
You know, what's funny is we're gonna say all this. Tristan's gonna have this shit like 7th. It's like, he's like, it's just not my style. Like, what's not your style? Winning?
Hey, you took that from me.
Yeah, I did.
That was heat. That was one of the best things I've ever said.
That was one of your bars. I fuck with this squad super hard. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna move it up to 1.
Okay.
And we'll obviously talk about the other one. But yeah, I'm gonna move this one up to 1 as well. I think this is a really, really good team.
I'll just fill in because number 2 for you is Ava. You can go ahead and talk and roast the shit.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So, I don't think I've ever seen a top 4 quite as cohesive and in its correct generation. Persons, honestly, is pretty close, but these 4 Pokemon in this generation are legitimately perfect. Like, everything you want to do, they cover. And then he surrounded it with good Pokemon in Chandelure and Toucan. But he really wanted to use Chandelure, which is fine. And honestly, it's a good Scarfer to take a little bit of pressure off Tarak. Melmetal, I understand you don't like the Pokemon. I'm kind of coming around a little bit. It's really fucking bulky. It's super strong. It's a great status spammer. It has really good coverage. And then he paired that up with Clef Latios, Mega Latios, I should say, which is just absolutely impossible to kill. And then, Tarak to just blow open all the steals for those 3. Like, Tarak, look what Tarak does. This is like the perfect
I
Tarak
will say that, yes, I agree completely. I think Tarakion fits amazingly on this team.
Like, Ava finally found a team where Tarakion makes sense. And that's always been my thing with Tarak. It's like, everyone's like, what's your Tarak swap in? Oh, I don't have one. Well, shocker. But then it's like, okay, well, what's the rest of your team? Oh, it looks weird. Oh, Tarak doesn't make any sense with it. Okay, makes sense. She did it. I truly fuck with this squad. I really, really do. I like the team. Donphan is one of my fan favorites. Get the pun. Fan favorites. It's a really, really good mon. It kind of carried me last year for a lot of my utility stuff when I didn't have a ton of options. He just kind of showed up every game and did his thing and went home. He's like that guy who hits 7th in the lineup in baseball, and he hits like 250, and he's pretty good, and doesn't get a ton of love, but he just shows up every game and hits 1 for 4 and gets on base and helps you score. And he's just a good guy. You love Donphan.
I guess
I'm sorry. I want like 1.5 more things to say.
Nope, don't go ahead. I'm gonna say it right after you.
I love Tentacruel. I know James does not like it as much as me. I think it's really good for 9 points. Especially, it's kind of the same thing as Tristan, who had Blastoise and Donphan, I believe. Was it Blastoise? Yeah, I believe the Blastoise Donphan. I'm a little scared where it's a little overlappy, but they're very different in terms of like one's Fizdef and one's Spadef, like all the time. And Tentacruel is also poison, which helps, and I like that mon a lot. I think it's another knocker that's good, because your dark type doesn't have knockoff, and I think this is a good Moltres Galar team. And obviously I love Tangela, and that's it.
Okay, so I think I figured out what's giving me the biggest issue for this team. The first 4 work amazing. They're great. I think after that, you have a lot of good mons, per se, opinion-based good mons. I feel like there are a lot of these mons are the mons, other than Donphan. I think Donphan's the only one that's an exception to this. Are all really matchup dependent kind of mons. And I just feel like he's gonna struggle some weeks to where he really wants to bring something, but it just doesn't fit that role, if that makes sense. I can definitely just see that happening, where it's like, oh, Moltres does really good here, but I really need to bring Tentacruel to help check something. And it's going to be a struggle for him deciding and building of what to bring. And I just think things will get lost in the shuffle. I think Raikou's going to be left out a lot, which is really going to suck, because I feel like it's cool for this team. I actually like Raikou on this team. I think it's pretty cool. But I feel like it's going to get lost in the shuffle a lot because you're having to bring different role players. And Donphan's going to be here so often. But if he can make it work, if this team works the way I think Mystery's thinking it's going to work, it can do really, really well. I think that's just my issue of matchup dependency. It just feels like all of them aren't. They're, how do I put this? Things like P2, which are kind of blanket stuff. I like that as role players for Mon's like the top 4. And it just feels like you have really Spidef a lot in Tentacle Moltres, and then you have your really good Fizdef in Tanglodon fan. And you can kind of fit things in different. I want to see how the types work together. I want to see how the matchups work together. And then I can give a better assessment on this. But that's like, I can finally find the words of like why I felt weird about this team. But don't get me wrong.
Do not let him end this on a sour note, because this team is awesome. Don't listen to him. Do not. This team is awesome.
It's cool. It's definitely interesting. I like Chandelure a lot, so the one
Of course,
team
that's the Mon.
I know. I don't like it on the team. I just like the Mon. So I want to see it do work. But yeah. So that's gonna conclude it. D2, you guys did a really good job. I do have to point that out. I'm not even trying to say that just because of stuff like that. But we're going to post this. I'm gonna post a screenshot of this, probably either in announcements or probably just in Power Rankings. Yeah. Just a screenshot so you can just see on paper what our stuff was. But thank you guys for tuning into the video if you did.
Actually, hold on. Can we give some quick end of season predictions? Just quick finals predictions. Just, a little too early. Finals
a little too early.
Yeah.
Okay, for D2, I'm gonna say my finals are going to be Monster and Sonic Goon. And I'm gonna say for D1, that one's rough. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna pull a mystery. I'm gonna say me, and let's do the redo. Let's do the rematch. Me mystery.
It'll be fun. I'm gonna give you a top 4 just because I think I like 4 of these teams. Goon, Monster, Person, and Ava, I think, are the 4. And then for the finals of that, I'm gonna just gut feeling Person, Monster. And I'll take Monster. I think he'll find a way. And then for D1, yeah, I'll pick us again. And then wildcard team, everyone picks Taylor every year, so I'm not doing that.
I don't like Taylor's team this year either. So.
Man, I'll go Robert. I'll say me and, if it's not you, it's me and Robert in the final. So that's my sleeper.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that concludes our D2 Power Rankings. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will catch you guys like always on the flip side. And thank you. Big shout out to Mystery to helping me do this.
Yeah. Make sure you follow me on Twitter @BaseMystery. Make sure you
don't do it.
to Mystery CD.
All right, guys. Catch you guys later. Bye.